Welcome to This Week in Orthodoxy, the world's only online video newscast focused on events in the life of the Orthodox Church. I'm Emmy Louveris. These are the stories making headlines this week. Orthodox Christians around the world celebrate the resurrection of our Lord. Pope Francis parallels the current persecution of Christians with the Asia Minor genocide. And a 10-year-old Iraqi refugee reminds us of the true meaning of faith. First up, the world's Orthodox community united in celebrating the Paschal Feast this past Sunday with the resurrection of our Lord. Patriarch Bartholomew, in his annual Paschal address, reflected on the current status of global conflict. His All Holiness reminded us that the spirit of Easter is to remember Christ's triumph over death and life over human corruption. In the United States, this feast day is often associated with the Greek traditions of Paschal lamb, red eggs, and tureki, a braided Easter bread. Similarly, the Arab Orthodox Christians have these same traditions. However, the Orthodox Church finds itself in many countries across the world, and customs often relate to their specific geographical locations and cultures. For example, in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Pascha or Fasika comes after a 55-day fast with a customary resurrection service where a chicken is offered up at midnight and the service continues. Afterwards, the Orthodox faithful celebrate with music and dancing until the early morning hours. Russian Orthodox faithful celebrate with a large breakfast complete with kurik, a sweet Easter bread blessed by the parish priest. They also make an Easter cheese dessert literally called Pascha, which is molded into a pyramid shape and embossed with a cross. On the Saturday before Pascha, eggs are prepared, dyed red, and then brought to the midnight service for consecration. Although culturally Orthodox Christians worldwide may have different traditions, as one Orthodox Christian church, the resurrection of Christ is at the center of the Paschal Feast. Next up, while the Orthodox were celebrating the resurrection of the Lord, Pope Francis triggered outrage from Turkey over comments he made regarding the Asia Minor genocide spanning from 1914 to 1923. During a commemorative Mass at the Vatican, the Catholic spiritual leader referred to the incident as the first genocide of the 20th century and went on to list its victims: children, priests, bishops, women, men, the elderly, and the sick. The statements came as the crisis in the Middle East has drawn parallels to massacres that took place exactly 100 years ago this month. Under the orders of the Young Turk revolutionaries, the Turkish government killed a total 1.5 million Armenians, roughly 700,000 Greeks, and approximately 275,000 Assyrians. In all, over 2.4 million ethnic and religious minorities were killed by the Turkish government. Turkey argues and maintains those killed were casualties of war and that the numbers are greatly exaggerated. However, written records by American and British ambassadors stationed in Turkey document the systematic extermination perpetrated by Kemal Ataturk. They included death marches through the deserts, trains to death camps deep within modern-day Syria and Iraq, and the burning of entire ethnic quarters within urban areas. By referencing the Asia Minor genocide and millions systematically killed by the Turkish government, Pope Francis has kept the current ISIS genocide against Middle East Christians front and center in the minds of the world. And finally, one little girl, an Iraqi refugee, reminds us of the true spirit of Christianity. 10-year-old Miriam was forced from her home when ISIS came through Erbil, Kurdistan, back in December of 2014. During her interview on the Sat7 Kids program, Why Is That?, a smiling Miriam said she does not seek revenge, nor does she want to kill them. She simply said she would pray for them and ask God to forgive. When asked what she missed the most, Miriam said her home. But she thanks God because He provides for her family even during this hardship. She also said she would forgive ISIS for what they have done, expressing that God was love and that He even loved those who harmed them. This expression of faith is especially poignant during this time of year. We are reminded that even as Christ was put on the cross, He asked His Father to forgive them, and in the resurrection, the new covenant was sealed. And in news from OCN, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary, and we've come a long way from producing a 1-hour radio program, and you can be a part of our growth. Last year, OCN experienced a 2,500% growth, with millions of people being reached worldwide. Come meet OCN's Executive Director and Founder, Father Christopher Metropolis, who's traveling to parishes throughout the country the rest of this month. He'll be visiting Holy Trinity Church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on April 24th, the Church of the Holy Cross in Belmont, California on April 25th, the Essential Cathedral in Oakland, California on the 26th, and will be at the Metropolis of San Francisco Clergy Lady Assembly on April 27th. Log on to myocn.net for event information and consider making a contribution that will go directly to mission, not overhead. For just 10 cents a day, you can comfort, inspire, and inform people all over the world. Be a part of OCN's 10-cent movement. And that brings another edition of This Week in Orthodoxy to a close. For everyone here in our OCN studios, I'm Emmy Louveris. Let's go forth in peace.